Yeah.
Hey, we're here at Prescriptions Plus Pharmacy and Optiyou RX in Gastonia, and I'm talking to Billy today and sort of interviewing him, asking questions about his upcoming Wellness Summit, which is January 10th and 11th. And when you come to the class, the coolest thing is the first thing you do is you get an InBody. An InBody is a body composition machine. And here's Billy Weiss. Tell us why this is so important. And
well, Janet, the cool thing about the InBody is that it gives us a lot of information about somebody. So people are always worried about how much they weigh, right?
Yeah.
I tell everybody, I don't care how much you weigh. What I do care, and what the printout that you have in your hand will tell us, is how much of that weight is muscle and how much of that weight is fat. And the reason that's important is, we talk about it all the time, muscle is our bank account for aging.
Yes.
It's our 401k. It's our savings for aging.
that's why we're trying to get in more protein.
We're trying to get in adequate protein. We're trying to get the right nutrients for our body to be able to build muscle and burn fat at the same time. And we can do that. So the reason that's important is, number one, when we think about fat, we know that a pound of fat does not look like a pound of muscle.
No,
these weigh the same.
So this
But one is going to look nice on the body, and one is not going to look nice on the body.
Look at the difference in the size of that.
Well, not only that, Janet, but I want you to notice the colors.
Okay, that looks like blood.
We talk about muscle and immune system, and we talk about muscle and overall health, and we talk about muscle and brain health. It's because muscle carries a lot of blood.
Okay.
It carries a lot of blood flow, which then delivers a lot of oxygen.
Okay.
Right? Obviously, if we don't have enough oxygen, you know, if you're not breathing, or if you're not taking in enough oxygen, things are not going to go well, right?
And you're not healing if you're injured you need the oxygen to heal.
It is true. And then you see the fat is mainly white. It is its own endocrine organ, so it can make other hormones that make more fat. And it has very little red in it. You'll see little splotches,
very little blood
but
flow.
a little bit of blood flow, so it's very hard to get rid of. Now, the problem is most people have no idea how much muscle they have. They have no idea how much fat they have. They know how much they weigh.
And then they go on a diet and they don't know if they're losing fat or if they're losing muscle.
And unfortunately, most people who are dieting, and the research shows this, or most people who are using Ozempic or one of the GLP-1s, Wegovy, Mounjaro, I can't think of even the names. There's so many of them now, all of them. But they're losing up to 50% muscle, which we have to get people to understand what you weigh. If you, let's say a person loses 20 pounds, but 10 of it was muscle. I'm going to tell you that's a net bad thing. That's a net negative for their health, not a net positive. Now, if they lose 20 pounds and 15 to 17 of it was fat and 2 to 3 was muscle,
get that back.
We can live with that. We can do that. Yeah, but we see when we put people on the right program, they're not only burning fat, but they're building muscle at the same time, or maintaining their muscle at least.
But that would also mean that they're building their immune system. They're getting more oxygen flow. They're healing their injuries quicker. They're anti-aging. So muscle is our bank account for aging.
Absolutely. And the beauty of what we're trying to teach people is it's not just about the fat that we see, but the beauty of this InBody is that it's the model that will give us visceral fat. So the fat that is around the organs, that's under the skin, that you and I can't visibly see.
Do you guys know what a skinny fat person is? I hear that all the time.
Well, there's millions, tens of millions in America.
A lot of women and a lot of men right now that are on GLP-1s, they're skinny fat. Like their bodies look skinny, but underneath it, it's fat and not muscle, and then their face starts to droop, and then they don't have a booty anymore.
And that's simply the only reason those people get those, we'll call them side effects or effects, are because of the lack of the right nutrients and protein. It's not hard to do it and do it right and get the benefits of the GLP-1 while getting the benefits of the micronutrients and the protein and being able to get the best of both worlds.
I'm telling you, I would be so mad if I'm going to a doctor and he puts me on a GLP-1 and each time I go back they're weighing me and I'm losing weight, but they're not knowing whether it's fat or muscle that I'm losing. So if you're on a GLP-1 and they're not tracking your visceral fat and your fat, go to a different doctor, go to a different provider. Come get an InBody and find out.
I'm going to tell you, Janet, that I bet that there is much less than 1% of America that has any idea what their visceral fat number
Why?
is.
Now tell me again why visceral fat is so important.
Well, visceral fat would typically, visceral fat is the most critical fat of all to know, because it's the fat that will kill us the quickest. It's the fat that will cause the most disease.
How much is it okay to have and not have?
Well, so the way this InBody measures it on the scale that they use, we certainly want single digits. So the InBody will measure from 1 to 20.
Okay.
If it's more than 20, we just can't. It can't.
You don't even know.
Do it right. So we want to be below 10, number one. And for most guys, we want to be somewhere 4 to 8.
Okay.
And for women, we would probably be more like 6 to 9 or 10, maybe even. But we want to get it lower, because that's fat that's typically around the liver, fatty liver. That's fat that can be around the pancreas. So now the insulin doesn't function and be made as effective. It can be around our heart. Right. It can be around our lungs. It can be anywhere around an organ.
It's almost strangling us from the inside out.
Well, it does. It creates a problem with blood flow, oxygen delivery. The function of the liver or the pancreas or the lungs or the heart is not as efficient anymore. So visceral fat is extremely important to know. And if you don't know these things, it's hard to be a good CEO, which I think is what this does. Is it gives us a ton of information. We know where we're starting from. We can then, the reason that I like to measure these things is then people can come back in 12 weeks later and they can get on this and we can go, okay, you did awesome. You lost 20 pounds of fat.
You can see it
and
on paper.
You gained a pound of muscle, or you maintained your muscle, or you only lost 1 pound of muscle.
Yeah.
So they can actually see what they're doing and not guess, oh, well, yeah, it's working because I weigh less. I encourage my people not to weigh at all,
and that's
but
hard
to only do this.
That's
I know it's hard
for women. Women want to see that number on the scale, and then it makes their day or breaks their day if you weigh a few pounds more. And full disclosure, very first day I met him and came to his program and I got on this, I could not look at my score for days. I folded it and put it away because I didn't even want to know, right? But then when I did go back and look at it, yes, I was shocked, but I've been able to trend year after year after year, and my body fat has gone down and my muscle has pretty much stayed the same.
And see, that's the thing, Janet. As you're aging, your muscle is maintaining or getting better while your body fat's going down. And one of the things that women need to realize, and it's hard to convince them until they do it, is they will wear smaller size clothes as they become more muscular.
You weigh more.
But they will weigh more because muscle is more dense than the fat. So if you take a muscular kid, maybe a gymnast, and you go to pick that gymnast up, he looks very thin and small like a little kid, super heavy. Then you go get a kid who's been eating Doritos and playing video games, who's the same size, you go pick them up.
They're light.
There's a huge difference, and it's because of the amount of muscle in the gymnast versus the amount of muscle in the kid who's not doing anything. And so I use that example because I know a lot of gymnast children, and I'm telling you, when you go to pick them up, and when they get old enough and you put them on here, you see that, right? You'll see the body fat in the single digits.
It shows you in each arm, your trunk, and each leg, the amount of lean mass and muscle and the amount of fat. But I know what all women right now are thinking is, I'm not going to do that because not only do I not want to see it, but I don't want anybody else in this room to know how much I weigh. So when he does this, it's very private. There's nobody else looking at your score.
Right.
Nobody else can see the screen. You don't even have to look at it yourself. But it's a good idea to show it to Billy, and he can quickly go down the line and go, okay, here's your visceral fat, but it needs to be here. And here's your muscles, but it needs to be here. And here's your hydration, it needs to be here. So just knowing how to interpret this is huge.
Well, Janet, I always say that information, the knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And it gives you the power to make changes and then come remeasure and see if they're effective or not, rather than just going and paying and doing things that you don't really know if you're getting the benefits. And the other thing that people need to realize is that if they burn muscle or they don't maintain enough muscle, Muscle is what burns 70% of the calories that we take in.
Yeah.
So the more muscle you have, the more leadway, and I hate to use that word, but the more leadway you have to eat things that maybe you know are not great for you, but you enjoy. You can get by with it more because you have more muscle to burn that off and less fat to hold on to it. And so that's the key to this, is that balance of finding what works that people can live with, but they get the best results.
I was at a Christmas party last night, and Santa Claus was there,
Yep.
and he was handing out cookies and candy, and I couldn't say no to Santa Claus, but I knew that I had enough muscle that I would burn that off today.
Yeah.
So come in and get an InBody and do the red bed and learn about why all this is important. And you know, other things that we track, like HRV and
fasting insulin
and our VO2 max and all these things that people are tracking right now. If you want to understand that, want to know what, you know, where you need to be, you know, the education that you get in this room is phenomenal.
Well, Janet, you bring up some things, and this is why this is so important. Almost everybody knows their cholesterol. They know their blood pressure. They know these things. They know how much they weigh. But the things that really matter to long-term health, to feeling good, looking good, thinking good, into your aging years, is your muscle and your fat, your visceral fat, your fasting insulin. How do you recover? When you say HRV, we'll say recovery. How do you sleep? How do you recover? Those are the things that matter. Those other numbers, I'm going to tell you, it's good to know them, but they're not the things that move the needle on your health. It's the things that the medical system and the pharmaceutical companies have said move the needle, but they really don't when you look at the studies. So I think what we're doing here is giving people the knowledge to really make changes that make a difference, and that's why so many people have so much success.
Be the CEO of your own health. And,
that's it.
And I think a lot of people think that your education weekend is all about you telling us how to diet, like it's a nutrition program or something, and it's not. It's information, it's education, it's science and data and studies, and you can read those on your own and learn, and then make up your own mind and be the CEO of your own health. And if Billy says, hey, you know, don't drink alcohol, and you still want to drink alcohol, then figure out how much you can drink and what else you need to take, and just, you know.
Well, I'll never say don't drink alcohol.
Well,
I give them the details. I tell them they should not drink alcohol. I don't say don't. But we go through why. And we go through the studies, and then everybody has to make that decision on their own.
Because I know people that won't come to your program because they say, I'm not going to stop drinking alcohol. Well, you don't have to.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to stop eating what
you will at least have the conscious knowledge of, hey, this is what's going on in my body. This is why this is maybe not the best idea for me. It doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. A lot of us do things that aren't the best idea for us. But at least if you have a working knowledge, you can make an informed decision. And I'm all about knowledge, informed decisions. You said it a minute ago, be the CEO of your own health.
Well, in our next one, I'd love to get into hormones.
Absolutely.
All right.
Let's do it.
Cool.